Hello everyone, my name is Marianne and I'm part of the book group team here at the library with my colleague, Pat Sherry. Today we thought we would bring you some titles of books that have crossed our desk recently, dealing particularly with the happenings of the times.
My first book today is Small Country by Gael, Faye, and it came out in Paris 2 years ago, and it came out this year, just a few months ago. It talks about a young boy, Gabriel, who's coming of age in Burundi. He has a French father and a Rwandan mother, and he doesn't understand why they're at war, because they're the same color and they speak the same language. It is so touching. It talks about genocide, identity, finding your place, what home means. Very well done, poignant, really interesting.
The Line Becomes a River, Dispatches from the Border by Francisco Cantu. He is the man who actually lived this story. After graduating from college, he wanted to have a better perspective on what it meant for all of the people who are trying to immigrate from Mexico into this country. His mother is a Mexican-American, so he had a personal interest in understanding what the real plight was of these people who go to such great risks to cross the border. He truly has put a face on what the immigrant experience is when you're unwanted and can't go back home again. This is a great book, so much to talk about, and also very, very well written by this young man. I think your group would find a lot to say about this one.
Ours certainly did.
Yes, that's true, very true.
This next book is more of a comedy, actually. Dear Mrs. Bird by A.J. Pearce. It takes place during the Second World War in London. Young Emmeline lives with her best friend, shares a flat, and her greatest desire is to become a lady war correspondent. And she fills out an advertisement application to work in a ladies' magazine, and she ends up working for the local agony aunt, Mrs. Bird. But Mrs. Bird will not deal with any letters that deal with any unpleasantness, unfaithful boyfriends. So Emmeline starts sneaking these letters away, and she answers them. And in between all of this, of course, war is raging, and it's actually during the Blitz. And it's so interesting to watch Emmeline and her friend get excited about dances and boyfriends, along with the very real war that's going on. It's charming, a lot of fun. I think you'll all enjoy it.
Staying in Britain, the next book that I'd like to recommend to you is Anatomy of a Scandal by Sarah Vaughan. The author has written this book to deal with the issue of relationship rape. This is the story of a young man, James, who is a rising star in the House of Lords, best friends with the Prime Minister. They are childhood schoolmates and very, very close. James is a married man with a family, but has carried on an affair with a research assistant. When he chooses or decides to end the affair and they get on an elevator together, they come off with his assistant accusing him of rape. He's taken to trial. The prosecutor has her own axe to grind in this affair, and it's a very interesting, serious study of what it means to accuse someone of rape in a he said, she said situation. Very, very very provocative, much to think about and to talk about. I think that this would be a very good book group choice.
And also the issue of a man being in power.
Yes, yes.
It's very interesting.
And timely, given everything that's gone on, certainly in our country recently.
Staying with the theme of foreign countries, God Save Texas by Lawrence Wright. He is a Pulitzer Prize winner for The Looming Towers. He also wrote book on Scientology more recently. He is a native son of Texas, and he is writing about Texas through the eyes of someone who is very loving of Texas. And he talks about the industry, the politics, and a lot of the idiosyncrasies that make Texas Texas. It is interesting. It is definitely explains why Texas considers itself its own country, and eye-opening. I think you'll all enjoy it. There's a lot to discuss. Give it a shot.
And while not of the times, but somewhat timely, we'd like to recommend Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. This is the story of two young sisters in the late 18th century living in relatively modest means. One sister of sense, Eleanor, the other sister of sensibility, Marianne. But both have one primary goal, and that is to marry well so that they can lead a life of comfort and ease. This happens to be about the only goal that women can have back in that era. So it's a little bit sad to see, what they have to do to ingratiate themselves to people. It's a very interesting book, and with that, we would also recommend the movie with Emma Thompson, beautifully done. Also, I think she played a big role.
She did some of the screenwriting for the movie. There's a young Kate Winslet, a young Hugh Grant. It's a great way to pass a hot afternoon in the cool dark.
And we have all of these books ready and waiting for you here at the library, including the videos. So please let us know what your interests might be. Bye now.